I know for a while you've been wondering to yourself, these things that I do, will they affect my manifestation? And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how these things will or will not affect your manifestations, because the answer isn't as clear cut as these spiritual niggas like to make it out to be. They'll tell you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and if you don't do this, you're not spiritual. But they're miseducated. Now, drinking, smoking, and sex, will they affect your manifestations? You're gonna get some. Now, before I actually answer this question, there's some foundations that need to be put in place, because everything stacks on top of itself, which is why when people just say these things outright, like, don't do that, it's bad, it's not spiritual, they're just being fucking stupid, really, if I'm being honest. So don't worry, you're gonna get some. I remember when I first was getting into all of this information, I was like to myself, these things, like, do they make me more spiritual, less spiritual? I was so oppressed. Every time I was drinking, I would be like, damn, I'm messing stuff up. I'm messing up my vibration. But it's not that clear cut. As I said, a lot of people, unfortunately, graduate from spiritual TikTok. They haven't read any books, which is why I'm going to break some stuff down to you. Now, I'm going to need you, as always, to take those notes and leave them in the comments, because like I said, your question will get answered, but there's some things we need to preface this with first. The first thing is this. I need you to get something into your head. The spiritual industry like to make it seem as if being spiritual means being a good person. It means being holy. And the truth of the matter is, being spiritual has nothing to do with being good, and it has nothing to do with being holy. Nothing at all. In fact, as you've seen, a lot of spiritual niggas like to make this stuff their personality. And I don't trust anybody that makes anything their personality, because the word personality etymologically comes from the word persona, which means mask. It's just another mask. A lot of people use the spiritual information not to propel their lives and materialize their desired reality, because as I say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. A lot of people use this to gain an identity. I don't want you to do that. So everything that we're going to be breaking down in this video, make sure you don't become one of them niggas, or else I will flame you as you see. Like, I've been sending AJ some videos of the telekinesis people, niggas that, one nigga had a head wrap like it was in Star Wars or Dune, and he was just like, whoom. Don't mess with any of that. Only focus on your ability to control your reality, because what is the point of being on this planet if you're not controlling your reality? Now, like I said, being spiritual typically has connotations with being good or holy, but it has nothing to do with that. Spirituality or spiritual just means the underlying energy behind reality. Also characterized as the unseen. Nothing to do with being good, nothing to do with being bad. You can be a very spiritual person and still be a bad person. You can still be a very spiritual person and be a good person. Good and bad have nothing to do with spirituality, because let's take good or bad. Good or bad, really and truly, are nothing more than polar energies. Good and bad is the same energy. The only difference is the rate of vibration. And this only exists within a third dimensional realm. Our concept of good or bad, it being split between two, is something that only exists within our third dimensional realm, physical plane reality. As you begin to transcend yourself and move to the higher planes of existence, what you'll see is what is often in quantum mechanics referred to as quantum entanglement, which is the idea that everything is interconnected and everything is one. So our conception of good or bad, splitting good or bad, is just really you falling for the illusion. Now, with that being said, being spiritual has nothing to do with being good or bad. And this is what a lot of spiritual people attempt to do, because psychologically they haven't got rid of the programming from the religion that they came from. So a lot of religions in particularly like to moralize certain things that inherently have no meaning. Because the truth of the matter is, life has no meaning. And that doesn't mean life is valueless. What that means is that the meaning that we give behind reality is our unfortunate descent into the illusion of separation and duality. For you to say something is good or bad, negative or positive, you have fallen for the split of reality, not transcending yourself out of it and realizing that everything is one. Now, here's the thing. A lot of spiritual people will still play the same games as religious people, not realizing that they've gone from one box to another. So when we're talking about smoking, drinking, and sex, spiritual people attempt to demonize or give these acts some type of morality, which in of itself is an illusion, but that's a topic for another day. Now, with that being said, I really need you to understand, when we're looking at the topic of drinking, smoking, and even sex, these things of themselves, they're not bad, they're not good. Now, will they affect your manifestations? Like I said, relax, you're gonna get some. You'll get the answer, but I need to set these foundations in place. As you can see, if you watched the last video, our whiteboard wiper died, but we got a new one. We're back in business. I'm literally destroying these things for you guys. Take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. Take me up, I'd love to see you. It seems as though people have settled on the name of Nero Nation, so I guess that's us now, guys. I mean, I didn't choose, you niggas chose. And one thing I realized is that somebody said, not Nero Nation, AJ Association. So it seems like the inner cult is your people, AJ Association. So the inner cult. You know what's funny? AJ, somebody said you're like Krillin and I'm like Goku. But you have no idea what that means, innit?
I do now.
Oh.
And that's why I don't watch anime.
You know, guys, I'd actually like to put a petition. I'm gonna leave a comment. Vote if we get 1 like, AJ will watch anime.
Which anime? When I said 1 like, get out of here.
How many likes?
On the video?
On the video.
15K.
Yeah, he's being ridiculous. Let's make it fair. Let's say 300 likes.
Bro,
Not on the video, on the comment itself.
Nah, 5,000 likes.
No. Let's say 500.
Which anime?
I'll decide. You know, you're not gonna know anyways. If I said Shingeki no Kyojin, what would you say? If I said Hunter x Hunter, what would you say?
I've heard a few people talk about that.
Now, we'll get back to that. Now, as I was saying, spiritual has nothing to do with these moralistic separations of being good or bad. Once again, I need you to understand this. Now, with that being said, when we're looking at the ability of drinking, smoking, and sex to affect your manifestations, there's something first that you need to understand before we get you there. Pause. And that is this. You make your own laws. Now, whether you realize this or not, one thing that you have to be very aware of is that there is no truth in reality other than what the subconscious mind says is true. I repeat, there is no truth in your reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as truth. What you have to understand is this. As it was said by, I believe it was Henry Ford, I believe, he says, the person who believes they can do it is right. But simultaneously, the person who believes they can't do it is right. Now, were you right or were you wrong? The truth of the matter is, when it comes to whatever the contents are in your subconscious mind, and as you can see, we've got a new color out here because somebody said your red mark has run its course. So, you know, we're out here upgrading the materials, and there's no truth in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. Whatever is within your subconscious mind will be reflected onto your reality. Understanding this, you need to be very aware of the laws that we make for ourselves as human beings on a daily basis. And my typical example, each and every single time, is what I call the black curse. Now, when you grow up black, you're inherently told life is going to be hard for you because you're black. You're going to have to work twice as hard as everyone because you're black. No one's going to want to give you a job because you're black. No one's going to want to see you succeed because you're black. Your life is going to be in the shadow of somebody else because you're black. Now, is this true? Yes, but merely if your subconscious mind accepts it as truth. Now, I need you to understand the truth, or whatever you deem to be the truth in your reality. The first thing that you have to understand is this: there is no such thing as the truth in reality. What there is ideas wearing the mask of a truth. And to the degree that these ideas are emotionally, because emotion is the only language of the subconscious mind. I know in this kind of manifestation space, they say is repetition, so on and so forth. But really and truly, you only need to be traumatized once for that to be imprinted onto your mind. So it's not to the degree of repetition, it's to the degree of emotional charge that can be generated by whatever it is that you're impressing onto your subconscious mind that will determine its ease into your subconscious mind. Because once again, the ideas that we accept, or the truths that we accept, there's no truth in reality. What there are ideas wearing the mask of a truth until you emotionally charge them. Then they become truth in your reality. And then something very dangerous happens. On my knees, no diddy. When this particular idea that you have comes up into your reality, you then say, look, I was right. And that is a trick, because what you're getting without realizing is what I call an artificial ego boost. And that artificial ego boost is what you get from being right. You want to be so right that you're destroying yourself. That's a bar, write that down. And this happens across the board. This happens across the board. You know, guys will be like, hey, because, you know, oh, I'm not tall, it's going to be hard for me to get girls. Is that true? Yes, if your subconscious mind accepts it as truth. Once again, extrapolate this to all aspects of life. The most consistent example that I can think of is women in particular who say all men are trash. Because then what happens? The truths that we accept into our reality, the truths, or the ideas that are wearing the mask of a truth, carry a particular frequency. And the thing about frequency is that your frequency puts you in the world reflective of whatever the idea you're accepting is. That's a bar, write that down. Even though we may be on one planet, there's 8 billion worlds, because 8 billion people have their own particular truths that they hold in their head, which are materialized in their reality. And when it's materialized in their reality, they get an artificial ego boost that says, look, I was right. Of course he was trash. I knew it wasn't going to work anyways. Oh, I knew I couldn't do it. How often do you, without even realizing it, artificially boost your own ego by destroying yourself? I knew it wasn't going to work for me. I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I wasn't going to get her. I knew I wasn't going to get that job, etc., etc., etc. Anytime that you step into a form of knowing has the underlying state of conviction. Conviction is aligned with what the true definition of faith is esoterically in the Bible. Religion is kind of taught that faith is some type of trust, but trust still has the potentiality for the element of doubt. And that polarity, often based upon our own self-concept, has the ability to completely corrupt us. Faith etymologically comes from the Latin word fides. Fides meant confidence. More importantly, a state of conviction. When you know that, I want you to ask yourself, what do you know to be true about the world? Because whatever you know to be true about the world is exactly the world that you're going to live in. That's a bar, write that down. Now, understanding this idea that you make your own laws, this is very, very interlinked with what we're talking about when it comes to smoking and drinking and sex. But before that, one thing I do want to say, something that you do have to understand is this. If the truth of your reality, and I like to put truth in quotations because there are no truths, they're merely ideas pretending to be truths. If the truths of your reality don't serve you, then they're just there to control you. Really think about that. Whatever you regard as a truth, the laws that you make for yourself, if they don't benefit you, then why the fuck are they there, nigga? Why? They're just there to control you. Because here's the thing, and you know, when we think about the concept of control from the top level down, it's quite amazing how they do it actually. I always think to myself, these niggas that run the world are really like, they really play the game on a level that you'd never even be able to conceptualize. Because if I can get you to accept the truth, which is detrimental to your own reality, I don't need to be there to physically touch you, pause, and make your life be all fucked up. You just need to internalize that truth and it will manifest into your reality. And when it pops up in your reality, you'll justify it and say you were right all along without realizing that you're destroying yourself. And that's the game on a large level, completely large level. How does that serve you? It doesn't. So I need you to make sure that every particular truth that you have in your mind serves you. Because if it doesn't, then it's just there to control you. You cannot be a god in your reality until you have the ability to rearrange your reality to benefit you towards your desired reality with each and every single belief. It's some deep stuff. It is some deep stuff. I've been seeing myself on Twitter trending a lot. It's quite interesting. I actually appreciate when you guys like repost my videos on Twitter. I never even realized I always get tagged in them and I'm just like, damn, that's me. Yep, that's me. Do you get that reference?
No.
That's so Raven. That's so
I
Raven.
used to watch this.
It's the future I can see. Wow. Wow. Somebody said every time I come onto your videos, I learn spirituality, metaphysics, and music. Speaking of which...
Oh, here we go. Young Thug versus Lil Wayne.
Young Thug versus Lil Wayne, guys. We're going to settle this. Me and AJ are going to make a playlist. I'll title it Nero Nation versus the AJ Association. And then we'll put the songs like side by side, like one after another. And you guys can comment who is better, Young Thug or Lil Wayne. I'm saying Young Thug has more hits than Lil Wayne. I'm not saying he's a better lyricist, but I'm saying he has better tunes. I guess we'll see.
It'll be a close one.
It's not going to be close, bro. See, you're doubting yourself. You're scared.
Out.
You're moving like Yamcha right now. You don't know who Yamcha is, do you? Have you watched Game of Thrones?
Bro, don't watch horses ride in the snow for 2 hours. Bro.
You're moving like Reek. Real niggas will know who Reek is. After this, guys, we're about to turn him to Reek. Yeah, we're about to turn him to Reek. By the way, Ballest. Stop commenting under my videos. I don't know if you lot see these bot comments and it's like hidden money ebook. Guys, they are bots. Listen, Ballest, you better stop this, my friend. I will find you. Now, lovely stuff. So, on the topic of drinking, smoking, sex, so on and so forth. Keep it in your pants, AJ.
This is why you always get the allegations.
Speaking of allegations, I'm not oiled up. I'm not oiled up. Somebody said you're never beating the oiled up. Guys, I'm in the comments, every single comment. I am not oiled up. Please, stop throwing these allegations on me. That's just the glow of the frequency. So, here's what you guys have to understand. Like I told you, the ability of these things to particularly affect your manifestation comes down really and truly to the blueprint of your mind. So you're going to get your own answer very, very shortly. Relax, you're going to get some. You're going to get some. But one thing that we do have to be aware of is that each one of these particular acts, does have the ability to affect your vibration. Now, here's the thing. I need you guys to understand something. These spiritual niggas, once again, they have moralized energy, which inherently has no particular morality. If you think that energy has morality, then explain to me why, even if you're the nicest nigga on this planet, if you misuse electricity, it will shock you to death. Electricity ain't gonna be like, hold on. He's a nice guy. She's a nice guy. Let's not. It's going to zap you. More importantly, the misuse of energy leads to suffering. And this exists on a humanistic level. But then, I need you to understand that anytime we suffer in reality, it is because we are misaligned to the universal energy of God. We're misaligned to the universal flow of God. That's what all suffering results from. All our suffering results from being misaligned to God. It goes back to what Jesus said esoterically in Matthew. With men, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. When something is impossible to you, or you're particularly suffering in a state of reality, it is because you are misaligned and misidentified. All our suffering in reality comes from a misidentification with who you are. But here's the thing, because you don't know who you are, you get to be sold who they want you to be. That's a bar, write that down. Now, when I'm talking about vibration, typically people go to two schools of thought. They'll say, oh, this is high vibration, or this is high frequency, or this is low frequency. And what they have equated it to is good or bad, but it means neither. And I need you guys to understand this. Go watch my video, You Need to Be a Bad Person to Manifest, because what that whole thing represents is this. The only reason I'm standing up at this board time and time again, speaking for 40 minutes off the top of my head, is because I need you to enter your desired reality. But you need to unlearn all the nonsense they've told you about how to enter your desired reality. You don't need to be a good person to enter your desired reality. You don't need to be a bad person to enter your desired reality. You can be either, because there's only one thing that the universe cares about. And it's not about if you're a good or bad person. The only thing that the universe cares about is your frequency. Now, what is your frequency? In order to understand frequency, you first have to understand vibration. Your vibration is simply an energy signature. Your frequency is the result of when this energy signature has been repeated. So a frequency is simply a repeated energy signature. So a repeated state of energy that's consistently repeated. Your frequency will always lead to your reality. Now, the way that I want you to conceptualize frequency is in a couple ways. You can think about frequency like the product code of your reality. And when I say product code, think about the universe to be some type of Amazon warehouse, dishing out bare different realities. By the way, for my American people, a bare just means a lot. I don't mean naked. Calm it down. Now, as I said, the universe is some sort of Amazon warehouse that dishes out bare different realities. The realities of poverty, the realities of wealth, success, failure, good relationships, bad relationships, disease, health, whatever. It has an infinite amount. And this ties into what quantum physicists call the parallel universe theory, characterized by the Marvel industry known as the multiverse. The idea that there's concurrent universes side by side taking place with each different version of you. The version of you that's making 10K, 100K a month, $1 million a month, the version of you that's sleeping under a bridge, the version of you that's married and not married, infinite amounts. With that being said, think about each one of these particular universes being its own frequency, having its own product code. Now, a product code in Amazon warehouse, I'd imagine that when they send you your parcel and you've ordered it online, whatever item it is, they line up that product code with what they were given online. And when it matches, they distribute that out to you. That is what frequency is. It is a product code. Another way you can think about frequency is as if a radio station. Each different reality being its own radio station. When you're tuned into one radio station, you experience that radio station, which is a reality. If you want to change what you're experiencing, change what you're hearing, then you must change the radio station. A TV comes with all the channels. If you don't like the channel that you're on, then change the channel, nigga. And that's what we're doing right here. That's a bar, write that down. It's the same way. Now, understanding this, if you want to enter your desired reality has its own frequency. Whether you are a good person or a bad person, you will enter that desired reality so long as the frequency matches. And yes, I know it's a bit depressing. I know it's a bit sad that this is the game, but you know as well as I do, we've all asked ourselves a question: why do bad things happen to good people? And why do good things happen to bad people? And it's because the universe doesn't care. And I need you to conceptualize it like this. Sorry for this example. If a baby found itself on top of a building and it seemed to wobble off, gravity or God isn't going to stop the air, send the angels to catch it. They're going to hit the ground like the most evil nigga that you know. Because universal laws are universal laws, and morality is a humanistic conception that universal laws don't adhere to. Electricity will zap you to death, even if you're the nicest person or evil person, it will treat you the same way. Gravity, it will treat you the same way. When we're discussing universal laws, such as the idea that your mind creates reality, also known as mentalism in the Hermetic traditions, it is all the same. It is above your conception of what it means to be a good or a bad person. All you need to do to enter your desired reality is to match its frequency. That's all you need to do. Now, somebody's gonna think to themselves, okay, Nero, how do I match that? You're gonna get some. You match the frequency by a couple of things, but I'm gonna give you the most easiest conceptualizations. Going on my knees again, no diddy. In order to enter your desired reality, at this moment in time, you need to do a couple of things. In fact, let me get up. Just clean this. Somebody said, can you edit out the part where you're wiping a board? No, nigga. How are people so mannerless that they'll come be given information like this in somebody wearing a vest and a do-rag talking for 50 minutes off the top of his head, breaking down thousands of years old concepts down to a simplistic level that a 10-year-old can understand. And what this nigga says is, can you edit out wiping your board? The audacity, the absolute audacity. But no, my brother, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Apparently, when I wipe my board, it's some type of ASMR for all the sick niggas out there. I'm joking, you're not sick. It's quite therapeutic, even for me. Somebody was like, Nero, I know the deeper meaning behind of you wiping your board. I was like, oh, what is it? They were like, with every wipe, you're resetting our minds and delivering new programming for us. Nah, nigga, I'm just wiping the board. I'm just wiping the board. Oh, that's cool though. Like, that's cool though. Don't give me too much credit, man. Don't give me too much credit. Cool. So, as I was just discussing, when we're talking about shifting your frequency being some type of product code for your desired reality, in order for you to enter your desired reality, only one thing is important. You must enter a frequency that matches. If you can enter a frequency that matches your desired reality, you will get into it. That's it. And how do you enter that frequency? Well, you need to make sure that the things that output to your frequency, so the things that make up your frequency, are directly aligned with your desired reality, which is a combination of your emotionally charged thoughts. I know in the manifestation industry, they make it seem as if thoughts are the end all and be all, but they're not. The only thoughts that have the capability of altering your reality truly are thoughts that are emotionally charged, for the mere fact that emotion is energy in motion, which emits an energetic vibration that eventually compounds into a frequency. The large basis of your frequency is your emotion. The next things that you need to align is your beliefs. Your beliefs are the building blocks of your reality. As I was saying earlier, essentially the laws that you make for your reality. The next thing is your identity. So the things that align with your identity. What else? Your attention needs to be aligned to be reflective of the reality that you wish to enter, only allowing those particular things to get your attention. I feel like I'm missing something. Emotionally charged thoughts, beliefs, identity, attention, and emotional conviction. Another way of conceptualizing these things are mental attitudes. So the perfect combination, the perfect balance between the mind, mental, and attitudes. That looks a bit wrong, but trust me, it's spelled right. Mental attitudes. Now, if all of these things can be directly reflected, so if you have the thoughts of somebody that is in your desired reality, you're aligned. If you have the beliefs that somebody would have in your desired reality, you're aligned. If you have the identity or the mental attitude of somebody who's in your desired reality, for example, if some bullshit happens and you start bugging out like, no, why did this happen to me? Why me? This couldn't come at a worse time. Is that what somebody in your desired reality would think? Yes or no? More often than not, no, they wouldn't think that. So why are you thinking it? Another thing, your attention has to only be reflective of your desired reality. You wouldn't place your attention on things that are reflective of your old reality. And your emotional conviction, what you truly feel to be the truth. Because emotion is the biggest factor when it comes to subconscious reprogramming. Once all of these things are aligned, then you enter, what you should enter is the true definition of manifestation, which I will repeat to the death of me, because through studying for 8 years and reading hundreds of books and conceptualizing all of these things and teaching it to my clients. For example, I had a client who was doing over 100K a month, and within just under 2 months, he's hit, I think, 260. Shout out to you, Adrian. That was very, very impressive. He owns a care home company, but you'll see a photo. Now, by the way, if you're an entrepreneur who's stuck at a revenue ceiling and you're in a breakout in 2 to 5 weeks, link in the description. But when you really do this process of aligning them all, then what you enter is what I call the true definition of manifestation that you won't find anywhere, because this is a conceptualization that I came up with myself. Manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you are no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. If you need to see your reality change for you to feel good, it's never gonna manifest. It's never gonna manifest. Never. When you are good with it and good without it, it will manifest. Because what this will indicate to the universe is that you are vibrationally aligned. Think about it like this. The shoes that you wear on your day-to-day when you're going on a walk or going to the shops, you don't really look at those shoes and you're like, wow, these shoes are they're just amazing. You just slip them on without even thinking about it. In fact, you take them for granted. The same way you take breathing for granted. You're not sat there saying, thank God for that breath. Yeah, that breath was the one, I'm so glad. Because if you did think like that, that would indicate that there's a problem in your breathing. And taking things for granted, when it comes to manifestation, you need to be able to take your desired reality for granted, because what that indicates is that you have it. What you're doing right now is looking at your desired reality in the shop window, eyes all gazed up, thinking, wow. And because you've done that, you've created the window, the barrier in between you. But if you look at it just like them normal pair of shoes that you just slap on when you're going out, that's when it becomes normal. And when it becomes normal, it also enters your frequency, because normality is part of entry into the subconscious mind. It's not normal enough to you. Now, all of this stuff does have to do with drinking, smoking, and sex. Calm down for you horny niggas. You're gonna get there. Don't worry. I know you've been thinking to yourself, damn, I really like fucking. Is this messing up my manifestations? Don't worry, it's okay. I know you niggas like drinks, because I like drinking too. And I know you smokers are always asking, like, does this bother? Don't worry, you're gonna get some. I'm about to break it down to you. But I just had to give you that to understand that really and truly, this is the only thing that matters. It's not about being a good person or a bad person. Were you gonna say something, AJ?
People always ask, do you smoke? That love.
I got family members that watch it. It depends what. It depends what. You get me? How are you gonna draw me out like that? How are you gonna draw me out like that, bro?
People want to know, bro.
Tell them niggas to mind their business. Tell them niggas to mind their business. Tell them African parents that you smoke is basically doing crack. That's not me saying I do that, by the way. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Somebody was like, your vests are getting lower and lower in every video. Listen, bro, I've been going gym. What you want me to do? Indeed. Do you get that reference? Indeed.
Where's that from?
My Wife and Kids.
Is it actually?
Have you watched My Wife and Kids?
Of course, I'm black.
So you didn't get the Indeed. It's the episode where Terry Crews is there and he's like, Euro training. You don't know?
No.
So clearly you didn't watch My Wife and Kids like that.
Oh, Okay, here we go.
Clearly you didn't, because anybody would get that. Anybody would get that.
Here we go.
Everybody Hates Chris?
Nah, I didn't watch that.
You didn't watch Everybody Hates Chris?
Did not watch that. And I can say that with chest. That shit was overrated.
Overrated?
That shit was actually overrated.
So what was your best black sitcom?
My Wife and Kids? No, Fresh Prince.
You're taking Fresh Prince over My Wife and Kids?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna say something controversial. My Wife and Kids is better than Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Well, they have called me a Caucasian. They said I'm wearing a skin suit. They said I'm a clone, that Nero's been cloned. So I hope this version of cloning is good for you guys. That I'm a reptile, you know, like a Slytherin. I don't know if you've ever watched Sarah Jane Adventures.
What is that?
Doctor Who's ting.
Nah.
You know them people and they're like, and they're just like aliens.
I watched a few episodes of Doctor Who though.
Listen,
I remember there were some statues. And
My Wife and Kids, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Okay.
and then Everybody Hates Chris.
Do you know what show's underrated?
What?
I wouldn't say it's back in the day.
You better not say Blackish or some dumb shit like that.
Nah, Marlon.
Marlon?
Never heard of it.
No.
Caucasian.
Have you watched Martin?
Nah. What's that?
Then you are. Martin Lawrence is like sitcom. That's what blew him up.
No.
Out here giving niggas lessons.
You should watch Marlon. It's like My Wife and Kids, but modernized.
You don't know nothing about My Wife and Kids. I can watch My Wife and Kids and know exactly what they're going to say at each and every single time. It's like that.
You sound so jobless. You sound so jobless.
See, guys, now he's calling me jobless. Now it's personal attacks on my character and that. Mandem are calling out my... By the way, Mandem is just guys. The Americans always asking, what does Mandem mean? It's like what you like call a gang. But, yeah, different. But, anyways... Does drinking, smoking, and sex affect my manifestations? Here's the answer you've been waiting for the entire video.
Oh, bruh.
It's not that simple. It's not that simple. Now, here's the thing. Go back. What did I say to you? What is the foundation of this video? You make your own laws. Do you believe that drinking, smoking, and sex will fuck up your manifestations? If you believe that, then yes, it will. If you don't believe that, then no, it won't. Because we know some serious degenerates. Everybody knows that degenerate in their head that is absolutely doing the most. And they're in their desired reality. Then also we know nuns. We know nuns and saints who are living absolute perfect lives, but they still can't, they're struggling to make it by. Now here's the thing. Like I told you, you make your own laws. But that's not it. So don't think, oh, okay, Nero, I've got it. No, you're going to get some. There's still another part to this. But primarily, if you believe that drinking, smoking, and sex will mess up your manifestations, then it will. Now, of course, I could go into how drinking alters your vibrations, opening up pores in your aura to allow for entities to come stick to you, and then you say you don't remember what happened. I could go down the path of how sex, particularly if you're a man, semen retention is your life force energy that is created from every vital organ in your body, so on and so forth. But I'm not here to do that. I'm here to get you in your desired reality, not tell you a bunch of shit to make you feel good, nigga. I only care about if you're going to get to your desired reality or not. Now, going back to what I said, you make your own laws. So for the mere fact, if your subconscious mind accepts the truth that they will mess up your manifestations because you saw some spiritual vegan shea butter sea moss nigga that told you that you can't do that and you're not spiritual if you do this. Fuck them niggas. If your subconscious mind doesn't accept that as a truth, then it won't. And I know this because I was drunk last week. Now, going back to what I was saying, that's not it though. It's deeper than this. It's truly deeper than this. What you have to understand is this. I'd like to ask you a question. What does drinking, smoking, and sex represent to your mind? And what I mean by this is this. There's often two particular paths that we can go down as individuals. You can either want to stop that or don't care. Now, here's the thing. If every time that you drink, smoke, or have sex, you either have guilt or regret, then yes, it is negatively affecting your manifestations. And I'll explain why. Now, here's the thing. Every time that you do something that you're not meant to do, one thing that you're forgetting is that the mind keeps score. Always remember this. The mind keeps score. The mind keeps scores of the things that you're supposed to do, and the mind also keeps score of the things that you're not supposed to do. And every time you do something that you're not supposed to do, you decrease your self-trust. Because your mind says, this nigga can't control themselves. And if your mind and reality are reflections, microcosm and macrocosms, if you can't control yourself, how could you ever expect to control the universe? That's a bar, write that down. Every time you do something, every time you drink, smoke, or have sex and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and you feel guilty and you regret it because really and truly it wasn't a decision, but it was a loss of control or something, or a bad habit that you're trying to break away from. Every time you do that, you decrease your self-trust. And self-trust is a currency that is converted into confidence. The more self-trust that you build in yourself, think about it like a currency of energy, currency exchange. And you exchange this currency, on my knees, no diddy, for confidence. And confidence is the elixir of manifestation. It is the base of manifestation. There is no manifestation of your desired reality without confidence. So every time that you do it and you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done that. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I feel guilty, so on and so forth. You're decreasing your self-trust, and through decreasing your self-trust, you decrease your confidence, and through decreasing your confidence, you decrease your manifestations. That is how it affects you. See, I told you it's not as clear-cut as these spiritual niggas make it out to be. And once again, it's because they've only been able to study stuff to a surface level. And it's very important that you understand this, because more importantly than drinking, more importantly than smoking, more importantly than sex, is your relationship to them. Because that relationship, it's either going to be something that you either feel guilty and negatively about. And here's the thing, it even gets worse. Because let's say you do them and you regret it. You regret, you have guilt. You guilt trip yourself like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Then that creates negative emotions. Emotions are the largest shareholder of your frequency, so that becomes a negative frequency. That negative frequency then attaches you to your old self that you're trying to get away from. That attachment to the old self then only leads to the creation of the old reality. And it's all this cycle. So, the answer depends on you, my nigga. It really depends on you. I could tell you, yes, it does, but that would depend upon the fact, if you believe drinking affects your vibration, then it will. If you believe that it doesn't, it won't. But on a deeper level, it's about what these particular acts represent to your subconscious mind. If they represent something that you're trying to escape, never forget that your mind keeps score, and every time you do them and feel guilty, you decrease your self-trust. And if you can't trust yourself to control yourself, how can you trust yourself to control reality? Which is why nothing's particularly moving, because you and reality are one. There's no separation between the mind and reality. Think about it like every time you argue with a nigga in your head and then you come across that person and there ends up being this atmosphere of tension, or shortly after, something that is reflective of that argument that you took place in your head comes place into reality. That decreased self-trust decreases confidence, which decreases your manifestations. So shit, it's for you to decide. I can't tell you.